Welcome to Behind the Podcast Mic, the podcast for podcasters and those ready to hit record for the first time. Join your host, Emmanuel Rose, for a show that's your go-to resource for everything podcasting. In each episode, we'll pull back the curtain on what makes podcasting such a powerful tool for connection, authority, and growth. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your skills, this show will guide you through the art and strategy of building a podcast that stands out. We'll dive into solo insights, guest interviews, and real-world best practices, all designed to help you master the mic. Behind the Mic is sponsored by Fluent Frame, a creative partner that transforms your ideas into polished episodes and lasting digital assets. So tune in and learn how podcasting can grow your audience, expand your network, and position you as a thought leader in your field. Let's step behind the mic.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm your host, Emmanuel Rose. Today we have Casse Weaver joining us. Casse is renowned in Humboldt County as the Humboldt Hen Helper, a nonprofit dedicated to assisting chicken owners with issues ranging from health concerns to education. Her innovative approach merges animal care with community support, ensuring that both chickens and their caregivers thrive. Casse's commitment to humane treatment and education has made a significant impact in her region and beyond. Let's delve into her experiences, insights, the powerful work she's doing, and what her podcast plans are. Casse,
Hey,
thanks
Daniel.
for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited to be here today.
Well, it's fun. I think it's fun, the work that you're doing around chickens, especially since you're a vegan. So tell us that story first.
I'm so glad you asked. Not everybody knows that. It's something that because I feel it's such a personal choice that I really don't try to push upon others. We know each other from my work at the gym health sport, and likewise at the gym. If someone really dives in to ask me, well, what do you eat? I will tell them, but it's not something I really promote because I really do feel it's such a personal choice.
Yeah.
So I was raised on a farm, and I think for farm kids, you can go one of two ways. One is that you're like, this is how we do it. And
Right.
The other is like, why do we do it like this? And I was really the why do we do it this way? And do I have to do it this way kind of kid? And really started rejecting that kind of lifestyle, like as early on as I can remember. We actually had some chickens that as children we were asked to help butcher, and I ran and I hid under the bed and cried and cried and cried and cried. And even afterwards, my grandma was like, well, aren't you happy we have dinner now? And I'm like, no, I'd rather not eat that. No, grandma. And so I had lots and lots of years where I tried to stop eating meat, and they would trick me into it because that's what farmers do, right? Yeah. They're like, you just had meat in your soup. And so becoming vegan was my act of rebellion at age 18, where I'm like, I'm an adult now, and I'm sure they didn't think it would stick, but it did.
All right. You showed them.
It did. And, interestingly, I got married to someone who lives a very different lifestyle. You got to meet my husband, and he likes hunting and fishing, and he eats meat, and we were managing that just fine until we decided to have a child together.
Yeah.
And I was really uncomfortable with, pushing meat eating onto an unknowing child, because they just eat what they're given, right? They don't know what they're eating. And I really wanted her to have the ability to make that choice herself.
Sure.
And she did. But of course, there's a few years before they're able to know. And that's when we got our first chickens as a married couple. He's like, I'm not okay raising a vegan child. Like, what do you think about vegetarian? And I was like, if we're going to do this, I have to have my own chickens because I love them so much as animals. that I really can't bear the idea of buying store-bought eggs, knowing that they have come from a life of unhappiness.
Right. All right. So that's an interesting genesis of it. So what's the work like that you do with the Humboldt Hen Helper? What is that? What does that actually look like?
It looks like a lot of different things. So any given week, it can be a lot of like phone calls and texts and like chats online and even emails where someone's looking for advice. And we don't actually ever meet up where we're able to resolve it with a conversation. But a lot of times it's also going and visiting people's chickens in person. And so Christmas Eve, I went up to McKinleyville and helped someone with a chicken that had a really bad eye infection. And coming up this next week, I'm going to go back and check on a couple of chickens that I was taking care of before my trip. And it also can be helping people with things like parasite control, people who have a bad infestation of mites or lice, and they're just not quite sure what to do about it. So I meet up with a number of people when it's possible, and when it's not, then we walk through step by step what they can do at home themselves.
So it sounds like there's a pretty kind of a checklist of issues that you're helping people work through.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong with chickens. It's really remarkable. They're more complicated than like a cat or dog with the number of things that can go wrong with them. And so sometimes seeing the chicken either in person or with like a video that someone takes of it can be really helpful to know what I'm looking at, because people can describe one thing and then what I actually see looks totally different. But yeah, it all just starts with like getting your hands on that chicken and finding out what's going on with it that might be making it unwell.
I see. And so I've noticed that you've got some training on your website for people. And you're obviously, you're an outgoing person, so you're not afraid of being on camera or telling stories. So then what do you think has kept you from starting your podcast about helping chickens up to this point?
That's a really good question. It has been on my goal as part of my nonprofit since I started it at the beginning of 2024. And just life, life gets busy, and taking that leap into doing something that's new for you is scary, of like, can I do it? Should I do it? Will people listen? Will it matter? And I'm really glad that I feel like the conversation that I had with you is really going to push me to take that next leap, because I have full of ideas, and it's just a matter of doing it.
Well, have you listed out some ideas for some shows that you are thinking about?
So there's already a number of poultry podcasts out there, and they're good. I don't want to discredit them in any way, shape, or form. They're very educational, and they're very PG, and so I'd like to make mine different than that. I'd like it to be a little less PG. I'd like it to be a little edgy, kind of getting in there to really express how it feels sometimes to have an issue with your chicken, and how frustrating it can be, and all the difficulties you can have. And I think that what people need is something that takes them beyond that initial, I have chickens, what do I need to know about chickens? Something for the person who's maybe had chickens as long as I have, but still likes talking about chickens. So as I talk to people who listen to the other poultry podcasts, they lose interest. How many times do you want to hear someone talk about how to incubate eggs? You don't really need to hear that every year, right? Once you know how to do it, you know how to do it. And so I'm really looking for an experience for people of what is it like to have chickens, and what stories do chickens teach us, and what can we learn from chickens, and how do we become a different person when we become a chicken keeper? And I have a couple of thoughts of what direction that could go, and maybe it's one show that has both components. So one thing I'm thinking of is calling it the Chicken Shit Show, because it really
It's a good double entendre there. I like it.
And where that's really a story of like the ups and downs of chicken keeping, and we can share heartbreaks and stories and triumphs and the ins and outs of being a chicken keeper, interviews with other chicken keepers as well. But then the other thought I've had, which maybe could be part of the same show, is to call it cocktails, and we craft up a quality cocktail and then talk about chickens over a drink, which sounds really fun.
Well, yeah, I would say it would be great. I like the chicken shit story. I think that's a funny little double entendre. And you could do like once a month Friday cocktails, right?
That's
As
true.
a
I could
show.
mix them together, yeah, and and then bring in some local people to talk about how things are going with them and their chickens, and we could have a lot of fun with that, I think.
Yeah.
But in terms of shows, I think that I think one of the ones that would really hit home with a lot of people, because my primary demographic is women. Women tend to keep chickens more often than men. Don't want to discredit the men in any way, shape, or form. They certainly are making up about 40% of my Facebook viewers are men, but the 60% are women. And they tend to be women who are like 35 to 55.
Okay.
And so I think that we could all enjoy talking about the aging hen and how that relates not just to our chickens, but ourselves.
Yeah.
And how we're learning about the aging process for ourselves through the care that we take with our animals is one of the topics that I've thought about. Of course, talking about dealing with the grief of loss. Chickens don't live forever,
Sure.
and in fact,
what does?
they're and they're relatively prone to dying. And it's hard, right? You take it really personally, even when you've done it for a long time. Always those questions of
was it something more I could have done, right?
Absolutely. And it's just magnified when you're in charge of, like, I have 22 chickens right now, and many people have even more. And so, in any given month, you might experience a loss, and that's not normal when you're dealing with like your cat, right? You don't lose a cat every month.
Yeah, right.
But I think a lot of people take the losses just as sad and seriously, because some of them really do become that close to us, as close as a cat or a dog pet is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I think you've got plenty of area for material. I love the concept, and I love the community of building on what you're doing for Facebook, and I think to be able to draw out a content calendar where you were one episode a week, one or two that you do each month by yourself as a solo show, and then have guests both when you're on site live with somebody with their chickens would be really interesting.
Oh, that would be really great.
And then you have this whole topic too of what it's like on the coast in the redwoods raising chickens versus everywhere else, right?
Yeah. No, it is really different here, with the like recently the absolute wetness has just been insane. But then of course we're not dealing with the change in seasons the same way that people would be that live in like the Midwest, or like some of my viewers up in Canada, where they have like deep snow, right? We don't deal with that, but we deal with deep mud.
Yeah, deep mud, lots of foxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah, right. So to break out your content calendar by solo episodes, by on-site episodes with guests, and then Zoom episodes, and then your cocktail concept, to be able to build out a year's worth of content. I think you've got really good opportunity there. Plus you've always got like vets and those experts to bring in too, right?
Hopefully. I would love that. I've had some challenges. Vets are very, very busy, and unfortunately chickens are not their priority. But if I branch bigger and outside of our area, I might find someone who has more time and capacity to be able to discuss something like that. Here in our area, the vets are so busy that their desire to talk about chickens is pretty low.
There's always a hierarchy, right?
No, I know, absolutely.
Well, yeah. What
What,
about technology? What are you thinking about your tech? Have you thought about that at all?
like in terms of how to record?
And process the videos and then distribute. Yeah. So all those
Yeah,
things
no,
are tech.
no, not really. That's something that you were asking what are some of the things that have stopped you, and of course that's one of them. Of like just not knowing, like what do people use and how do they do it, and that's something I don't really know a lot about yet.
So yeah, there's a couple of standard capture softwares, right? And this is one that we're on that is the Restream,
Mhm.
and then there's a couple others that are all pretty similar in terms of the capacity to record, but literally a Zoom account is really all you need for the remote stuff, and you can just record those MP4s.
That's great. I do have Zoom
Yeah.
still. It's reasonable. I just keep paying for it.
Yeah, so you get to use it for a change. And then the plug for Fluent Frame, which is one of the sponsors of the show, they
Mhm.
take the MP4 into the software. Basically, you just upload the MP4 in, and it processes the video for you so that you have Google, you have a YouTube description. So if you push it to YouTube,
Oh wow.
you have that built out for you already. You got an email newsletter description already if you have something like that, and then you have social posts as well as
Oh wow.
short and mid-length videos. So you have your shorts that you can publish as well.
Oh nice. Fluent
Yeah,
Frame. Fantastic.
yeah. So that's one. There's Opus Clips. There's a handful of others that do similar things, and then you can house it on YouTube and have the videos on your website that are the video version, and then through an RSS feed, you can push it up onto Spotify, Apple, and Amazon that way. So it's a few
Okay.
steps, but once you get them set up and get the workflow done,
Yeah.
then it becomes a manageable thing.
I did make a YouTube account for this, so I've been taking baby steps.
There you go.
What length of podcast do you find is the most successful?
Well, for me, my audience tends to be 25 to 40-year-old males for my marketing
Mhm.
and age of AI pod. So that's shorter attention span, shorter clips. But it's something you would do some research on. Probably I'd recommend Notebook LM. If you went into
Mhm.
Notebook and dropped in your Facebook page and some of the other chicken pods, you could do market research in there, and it would tell you.
Okay.
Notebook will tell you what women in that age range are looking for in order. It goes the whole gamut. A lot of times they want to see solo episodes that are longer. They need longer form content because people are listening while they're traveling.
Mhm. I know, like a lot of the podcasts I listen to, there's something I enjoy to listen to when I'm going on like long runs, and so I love ones that are like 2 hours
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to tell me a story the whole time, and it's going to
Right.
keep me busy.
Yeah, get your mind active that way. Yeah.
Notebook LM. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Google product, and it's a deep research AI tool.
Awesome.
And it's really great for that type of research. Yeah. And so I would just recommend that you chart out your first 10 episodes
Okay.
and do one that's an introduction and why you're doing it, and talk just as a solo episode. Get 2 or 3 chicken people on a Zoom call
Mhm.
and do a couple episodes that way, and then kind of see where that takes you into the episode land. But you definitely got 10 episodes at least.
I
And
think so. I think so. Do you have advice for? I've always been curious how someone handles if you have invited a guest and they turn out to be a disaster.
yeah. Oh, it's there's for people that you don't know, I always have a meet and greet appointment. And so
Mhm.
we meet and greet and kind of plan out the episode. So that's the first filter for people that I haven't met before. And usually in that meet and greet, some people don't show up, so they're obviously not invited in to be on the show. When it's a disaster, I really it's funny, but I ask questions to interrupt them, to get on to tracks that I want to get onto, right? And so
Uh-huh.
sometimes there's really the two disasters I've seen in my 400 episodes. One is the person who just wants to pitch and they want to sell on the episode, right? Like,
Mhm.
here's my book about chickens, and you should order my book about chickens on Amazon, and on and on and on. Or the people who want to just talk through the whole episode and don't are not asking questions or having a conversation, right?
Okay.
Or, well, I guess the third one is they're just really boring and they just answer the question and then they're quiet, right? But the pitcher, and the long talker, those are the two biggest the challenges that I've seen. And only a couple of times have I had that where I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for this to be over, But it happens. I don't know. I don't think you can make it so that it doesn't
I
happen.
know.
Yeah.
I know this is supposed to be fun.
Exactly. Well, I think that the being you as the host being interested comes through the episode, and if you're not interested, or or you're kind of beat down by a bad guest, then that's going to come through for sure.
Yeah, I've seen someone feeling like that, I think. Oh, well, thank you for that answer. I've always been curious about that, and a little worried about how to handle that because it certainly must happen from time to time.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of a hippie streak that I have. I always go into my heart chakra, and I talk to them through my heart chakra, so that it is comes out very supportive in the transitions that we're making.
Oh, that's awesome. I know
So,
it helps you become a better person.
absolutely. Well, and that is the truth about being a podcast host, is that it's definitely for me unleashed my interest in other people in a way that it was dormant before. So yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
why I
really
encourage
awesome.
everybody to host, because you get to talk to everybody about things that you're really interested in.
I know. Talking is like my favorite thing.
Well, yeah, and I've certainly, as you continue to walk down this and get the show kicked off, reach out to me by email and or on social, and I love to help you get it kicked off and get the world of chickens encouraged by your experiences and the experience of
Oh,
your guests.
thank you so much, Emmanuel. I'm really excited, and I'm excited to be doing this right here at the new year. It's like no better time than to just jump in and start something you've always wanted to do.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, and thanks for being so brave to talk about something that you're learning about. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that
you so
spirit.
much for the opportunity. It was really an absolute like blessing that we had that conversation that night and realized that this was something that you could help me get me guided into doing. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really grateful to you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you bet. It's been a pleasure. And when you get the show up and running, let me know and I'll help publicize it for you too.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
All right. Thanks, Cassie. You have a
All right.
great
Take
afternoon.
care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, it's a great thing to have a passion and to have a great birth story about that passion, and then take the time to learn about a way to share that information with people in your network and people who want to learn about the things that you're interested in. So I hope you found some value in the conversation I had today with Casse Weaver about chickens. And I hope that you take some time to go and discover some more podcasts that you love to listen to. And also think about hosting a podcast of your own that will help you learn about other people and discover new and interesting things about what you're passionate about. It's Emmanuel Rose, behind the podcast mic.
Thanks for joining us on Behind the Podcast Mic. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone else who's thinking about starting or leveling up their podcast. This show is sponsored by Fluent Frame, your creative partner in building a podcasting system that works. From professional production to strategic distribution, Fluent Frame helps turn your voice into a scalable content engine that drives visibility, trust, and growth. Ready to launch or improve your podcast? Visit influentframe.com to learn how they can help bring your vision to life. Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep stepping up to the mic.